Hi, I'm Dave,
And I'm Tammy.
and we're here today to talk about the Vako shade lift system and introduce you to its benefits over this traditional Rollease system that we've used for many years. Tammy, let's get into it.
Thank you, Dave. Let's get into why the customers would want the Vodka over the Rollies.
Alrighty? So, the Vako system has a sealed headrail. All of the moving parts are up inside there where they can't be accessed to be tampered with, versus the Rollease system, which is a product which contains everything that it does out here underneath the mounting board. It's on the back side, but it's still something that can potentially be tampered with. We have a clutch here, we have a spinning drive rod, we have coils of lift cord and clips that are holding things in place. So there's a lot that can kind of go wrong. So this has been a workhorse, it's been a great product all these years. Our customers have come to know it, so therefore they love it. But we've also always had to deal with problems where sometimes we would have to get these back and they'd have to be repaired, and nobody wants that. Uh, in comparison, this Vako system, we've been selling it for about 2 years. We're really excited to tell you about it today. We want to convince you that if you love this, we really think you're gonna love this even more. This biggest advantage is we've been selling it for about 2 years and we've had 0 returns to replace parts that are on the inside of this headrail. And I just think that's
0 returns?
no returns whatsoever due to needing to have any kind of servicing done to the internal workings that are riding inside of this headrail.
That's kind of remarkable.
Fantastic.
Okay, so our customers are used to having the Rollies mounted under a board with various projections. Why would they continue to use that versus the Vako?
What we have found is through the years, the trend has been the other way. People are not clamoring for, let me have a 3.5-inch projection, let me have a 5.5-inch projection. Instead, it's the other way. How close can I get shades to the window? And so we've always been asked, what can we do? What method can we choose? What lift system? And the answer has always been, well, if you want a functioning shade with our Rollease system, the minimum is going to be a 2-inch board. And you can see that's because of the nature of this part right here, that's the bracket for the clutch, is 2 inches in that direction. So we haven't been able to offer a more slim shade product versus the Vako, and it is it's actually less than 1 3/8 inch profile right here. A bit more than 1 1/4 inches is the actual size of the headrail. And again, I think that is really the only issue involved with the choice, oh, maybe I could get different projections. I think that's the issue is customers are really clamoring for a shade that is a very slim projection.
So how is the Vako functional without a board?
Okay, that's a good question. It's like, look, Ma, no board. Because it seems like you just would kind of need that. Like, that seems to make this whole thing work over here on the Rollease. Well, this is a metal headrail. All of the moving parts, as I've said, are inside that headrail. On the front side of the shade, the top of the shade is mounted to the face of the headrail. And as you can see right here, it's mounted with Velcro. So
Wait, Velcro?
Velcro,
Is that going to be able to hold the weight of the shade up?
absolutely. And there might be a misconception, and let's dispel it right now. The weight of the shade is being pulled up from the bottom. So all the tugging that's happening is down here, and that's where the strength of the cords and everything else about the lift system have to do their thing. Versus this just top area here is the only part that's really being required to sort of carry any kind of weight to keep the Velcro in place. So there's really not an issue of durability using this method of having a metal headrail and having the shade mounted to the face with that Velcro.
It looks very clean and chic.
Everyone likes clean and chic.
Okay, so how are they different as far as installation?
All right, we have some show and tell here, and I've got some parts to show you. Here are some L brackets, and these are the installer's friends, and I myself have installed many products long ago and far away, and
Long time ago.
not so far away. And the traditional board-mounted treatment, as every installer can tell you and sort of perform this in his sleep, is you put the L brackets into the wall, and there you go. And then the shade mounts, the shade board mounts on top of the L brackets. The L bracket has to fit in there on the underside of the board. One interesting thing about the Rollease is that there's not complete unrestricted movement here left and right, so you bump into these different parts on the Rollease. Is that terrible? No, it's something people got used to. Again, this is kind of the best thing we had for literally decades, and so that's what was going on. But when you're installing things, you want to be able to find studs behind the wall and make a secure. The number one job of the installer is it's not going to fall down. Do not make it fall down. It will not fall down. But anyway, there is a little puzzle here to position the L brackets versus the Vako. And here are the brackets for the Vako. This answers the question of a customer asked me, how do you get this on the wall? This is how. It's simply a metal headrail, and it has these metal brackets. They're a little bit like using mini blind brackets. In any event, it's a simple metal bracket. The interesting part about it, well, there's a couple things. One is this is both wall and ceiling mount. You can very easily ceiling mount this product. Once it's secured to either the wall or the ceiling, the headrail actually just clips in without any more tools necessary. And I can demonstrate with an audio effect here. We'll listen for it to snap into place. Ah, that's a nice snapping sound. Isn't that very satisfying? Here comes another one. You want to hear it again, Tammy? Here we go.
Here we go.
Okay, there you go.
Very cool.
So the idea is, after these are up, you simply take the shade and you snap it into place, and you walk away. So that's how you get it on the wall. There's another benefit, which is this headrail has no restriction. The brackets are up on top of the headrail. There's no interference with the lift system that's going on and the shade pulling up and down. And therefore, you can slide these brackets anywhere along this width and place them exactly where those studs are in the wall.
So with the Rollease system, customers can order front load option.
Alrighty.
And can they still do that with the Vako?
Absolutely. And there's a benefit. And let me explain. And let's review. Because I want to make sure we have an industry standard term where everybody understands front load option. That's our word for when you mount the shade to the back of the board on a traditional board mounted shade like this. So this is one way of solving that problem about projection, by the way. Of course, it's the ultimate narrow projection. Is the shades coming off the back of the board? It's like flush against your window. So then the other component is then there will be a valance on the front side that covers up that area, and there's the exact same thing is available over here with the Vako. And what we do is you say, let me have some front load option, and we say, absolutely, and we send you a different bracket. So we have these different brackets, and what they allow, they also snap right into place, is just a little bit more space here that lets the shade have some room to be mounted to the back of the headrail. And that's all there is to it. Now, there's this other kind of really interesting difference. I think it's interesting because I've been there and I've done this. And when you want to mount a Rollease shade with a front load option, the face fabric is in your way. And you've put your L brackets on the wall. Look at me, I've got the L brackets, they're all ready to go. But then when you go to put the shade on, the face fabric is in the way for you to get this L bracket poked through that face fabric and to be underneath the board. The traditional solution to this is to take out a pair of scissors and to cut through the face fabric.
No.
Yes, and the valance would cover that up, so okay. So it's not a terrible solution, but you're taking your beautiful face fabric, your decorative fabric, It's probably very expensive. It's a lovely piece of fabric. Of course it is, because you picked it out, because you're the designer. and and you're cutting it, you're slicing it in order to just do this front load option. What about Vako? As I've already mentioned, the brackets are up on top, so this is a little geometry problem. The brackets are on top of the headrail. There's no interference. So you put these different brackets here. We've already we've already created this as a front load option, meaning the shade is mounted off the back of the headrail. There's a valance in front to cover up the headrail, and everything just works. All you do is you mount it exactly like you would for a regular mount. You put these other different brackets up. You put them in the wall or in the ceiling, and you put the shade with the headrail up, and you snap it in place, and you walk away.
So no cutting of the fabric.
No cutting of the fabric.
Cool. I like that.
There you go.
Last but absolutely not least, what are the child safety aspects of both of these?
This is really important, Tammy, and let's just spend a minute talking about that, and then we're going to wrap this video up because everybody has things to do today, I bet. Here we go. So we're actually treating this identically. So there are two things in the current child safety standard that are required, and we're abiding by both because of course we are. Because of course we want kids to be safe.
Of course.
And that's what the whole child safety thing is about. We as a company have been involved in this for years, and we take it really seriously, and as we all should. And we're currently choosing to address the current standard and comply with it in two ways that are necessary. One is that we're using ring locks in order to render the lift cords harmless from being pulled out into a hazardous loop. And the other component is we use a universal drive tension device, and that is attached to the chain cord of either of these products. And it means that an installer must create tension and install this into the wall in order for it to function at all, in order to even operate it with that loop cord. So as far as the current child safety standard goes, this is the state of the art, and this is what we are currently doing to comply with that.
And
But I bet you have another question.
I do.
Because there's been news.
And there has been some news about the new standards for shades. So does Vako have any products that take care of that issue as well?
I'm really excited to talk about this, and actually, we've already done videos about this.
Yes, we have.
You and I have, and
Yes, we
there are
have.
some spiffy videos, and you need to go see those right now. And we have just recently introduced our version of two other Vako systems. They are both cordless control, because there's a new child safety standard in the works. Even though it's currently held up in the courts, it is surely coming sooner or later, probably sooner. And when that happens, there are going to be no more control cords, which is kind of mind-blowing. It's like, okay, so you're saying, how do we pull this thing up? What's going to happen? Well, Vako has devised two methods that we're availing ourselves of. One is, and they're both cordless control. They use no control cord. There's still lift cords. There's no control cords. The first is a spring system, and that's where the person is the lift system, and you simply push it up and you pull it down with your hands. It's extremely intuitive. It's best for smaller shades because people are only so big, so it needs to be human-sized, and it works in a lovely way that is, in a way, superior to just sort of pulling on a cord. Also, we're offering a crank lift system, and that is one with superb ease of use that surpasses, again, it surpasses this corded control, because you simply wind on this crank one way and then back the other way, and there's almost no effort involved. And it's ideal for large shades, or it can be used for any size shades, small shades, but large shades, because there's just like nothing, no muscles needed, no muscles required. So anyway, these two systems are recently introduced by us. We have some other videos. Today we wanted to review and talk about the basic selling points of the Vako system in general. So just to sort of circle back again, what we would like to encourage our customers to think about is, if you love the Rollease, we think you're going to love this Vako even more because of all the reasons we've just stated. It is great as a system that is super durable. It should hold up really well. It should not require any repairs. It should do everything that you love about the Rollease, but with less fuss and less muss.
Sounds great.
It sounds great. I would get one.
I would buy one.
I would probably get
I
one.
mean, with 4 grandchildren, I mean, you know.
Those grandkids, you gotta watch them.
Yes, you do.
All right, Tammy. Well, I think that's all we wanted to cover today.
I think so.
So I think we just need to remember one important thing, which is that Vako, it rhymes with taco. And wait a minute, that gives me an idea. You know what? I think it's time for lunch.
It is.
Let's-
You ready to go?
Let's go get some tacos.
Okay, let's go get
All
some
right.
tacos.
Thanks, folks.